My name is Dietmar, and I intentionally go by my first name. And that's why we function as a family here. So we're all family relations. Now, Dietmar as pastor here at St. Paul's United Church of Christ in Selinsgrove, and I'm the dad of a trans son. Now, in the community itself, I participate in a ministerium. That's where all the clergy from our area come together from the Selinsgrove School District. And that's where I'm one of the other clergy, where we function together, where we live together, where we minister, serve together. So I have different roles, different areas, different hats I'm wearing, depending on where I am and what role I function. So as dad, as pastor, as member of the community, and here as pastor specifically at St. Paul's, we're an open and affirming congregation. That means specifically in our United Church of Christ umbrella, it means that we're including and affirming people of every background, and very specifically LGBTQ persons in all roles and leadership positions in the congregation. And that's why we have a rainbow flag standing outside to identify that we're open and affirming, a safe place where everyone belongs, no matter who you are or where you're on life's journey. That's our identity.
So you've been you're pastor of St. Paul's United Church of Christ here in Selinsgrove. How long have you been the pastor here?
I've been here pastor of this congregation for 16 years, and I'm planning for the next 16 years. So it's a place where I think we belong beautifully with the congregation, with me. It's a good relationship and fruitful, and we do very, very important ministry.
At what point in the journey of St. Paul's did the congregation or you start saying we need to make sure that we're a welcoming and affirming church for our neighbors who are LGBTQ?
Yes. So it's a process that started many years ago. And about 10 years ago, we started very specifically studying scriptures, backgrounds, had outside people come in sharing about their stories. We'd had a professor from Lancaster Seminary come in about how we understand those passages in the Bible that seem to contradict love and how we understand being gay today. So it was a deep searching discernment process. And our first vote on that was 10 years ago. And then 5 years ago, there was a huge shift from 10 years ago to 5 years ago. 5 years ago, we had the supermajority of 88% of our congregation vote to become open and affirming. And I think the key is this open and affirming part, that we're really intentional of saying you're loved for who you are, no matter what. We do not try to change you. We do not try to do exorcism or whatever. So I don't want to go all there. But 5 years ago was that key vote where 88% of our congregation said, yes, we're open and affirming. And at that point, it became part of our identity, part of our DNA, part of who we are in the community, as a congregation, and out there. And 5 years ago, we actually put then, with this vote, the rainbow flag outside as a visible sign that we're an open and affirming congregation.
So that other 12%, did you lose that other 12%? Or?
Well, I think it's interesting. We did not lose the 12%. And there, for some people who voted against becoming open and affirming, yet they remained part of the congregation. So being open and affirming, our congregation is way more than that. We do food outreach ministry, we do children's ministries. We're so involved in the community. So many people of those who voted not to become open and affirming stayed. Now, there are some people for whom that was the deciding issue, and some people left right the Monday after that vote. Yes. Currently, my position is, while I'm very, very clear always as pastor of the congregation and personally we're open and affirming, my understanding is that the church family and our tent is always bigger than any one issue. So you, of course, are welcome and belong here, even though you may not be fully progressive, even though you may have your questions about what is PFLAG. We have people who do not know what is PFLAG, so then we have conversations with them. So my personal point is always we're bigger, we're a family, and we have conversations about different issues, and you're welcome to join any and all of our ministries as you are. And then we talk and discern, and some people say, well, or some people said that's for me the breaking point. For other people, even though they were not in favor of open and affirming, they still continue here and say there is so much good about St. Paul's beyond this one topic, beyond this one issue.
Did you gain more members by
Yes,
taking that stand?
Of course. And a very specific group of people has been coming, and those are young families with children who want to raise their children in a spiritual community and a family of faith where everyone is welcome and affirmed for who they are. So that's the interesting shift that happened. And when we voted, people were afraid, what does this mean? Do we lose members? But we gained members of the congregation because we became open and affirming.
Talk to me a little bit about being a father of a trans son.
Yes. Well, and it was a great surprise for both of us as parents when our son came out as trans. It was during his college time, so he was not living here in town anymore. And for me, at that point, PFLAG, the support group for people and parents from the LGBTQ plus community, became a safe place for me. So it became it was like a lifesaver for me to have a support group where people and parents of LGBTQ children could share their stories, their experiences, to be loved, to be listened to learn what does it mean to be a parent and how can we love our children for who they are. So at that time, and we're going back years, PFLAG became saving grace for me.
Did your son coming out as trans have any influence on your decisions here at the church?
No. While people in the congregation knew that our son came out as trans and transitioned, I never made it about me and our son. I think the issue and the topic, everything was in conversation, and the discernment process happened and was underway, and the vote also. And that's where I'm very intent on being both. On one hand, I'm dad and father and love my son for just who he is. On the other hand, I'm pastor and have a broader, open thing, and being pastor is so much more than it being about me. So that's where I'm community, a leader of our faith family, of our community, of our congregation, where it's not about me. It's of how we discern, how we read the scriptures, how we welcome people, how we're open to everyone.